There were idols around. There were all kinds of things. The Lord said, look, I want you to focus on me. I want you to do it. And he kept on doing what he was supposed to do, right? So he was grown up in the Lord, and now he's at a leadership position over there in Egypt, right? So the Lord has transformed Joseph's life at this point. So now we're looking at the brothers. Now let's think about who are the brothers, because that's where we're at right here. Joseph, the brothers have come over, right? They have gotten the grain. The brothers are headed back. The Lord is about to put a test on the brothers, because what is it over here when the brothers met Joseph? What did they keep saying to him? What was their thing that they kept telling him? That we're honest men, right? We're here honestly. We're not spies. We're not trying to do. We're trying to be honest with you, and we're trying to change, and we're trying to. So when they were in the cell, that's when the Lord showed to them that, hey man, you guys have done some bad stuff, man. You guys have sinned about things, and I'm changing your life, and I want you to see that. And they're starting to get convicted, right? So they've changed. Joseph gives them this grain. They're heading back. So look what it says, and then we're going to talk. So this is what I was saying. The Lord showed me that, we've talked about Joseph. Now we're talking about the brothers, okay? And then we're going to talk about Jacob, because who is it that the Lord's trying to change in our lives? Is I'm dealing with my kids, right? As a parent. And I'm saying, Lord, I want you to deal with my kids, and I want you to help them, and I want you to change them, and I want you to refocus them and do whatever in their life, right? The Lord is dealing with them, but who else is he dealing with? Who else is the Lord dealing with when he's dealing with my kids? He's dealing with me, right? And he's saying, Chad, I'm going to deal with your kids, just like he's saying right here, look, I want you to deal with Joseph. I want you to deal with his brothers. I want you to deal with his father. It's a whole thing, man. And this all works together as far as he is now going to deal with the brothers. So as they move forward, we're down here in Genesis 42, and we'll read 42, and we're just going to start at verse 25. Joseph gave a command, fill their sacks with grain, restore every man his money to his sack, and give them provision for the journey. So he gave them the provision for the journey, filled their sacks for the 6 months to a year, and also gave them money to come back. Why did he do that? Because the Lord told him to do that, right? Did he know why he was doing that? He was just doing that to bless them, right? He was not necessarily doing that to put a test on them, but who was trying to test the brothers? The Lord's trying to test the brothers to see where their heart is, okay? So as he goes, he did that for them. He said they loaded their donkeys with grain. They departed from there. Now this is verse 27, Genesis 42:27. But as one of them opened his sack to give his donkeys feed at the encampment. So what he did, they opened their sack. They were going to feed their donkeys. They were going to give them the food, just taking a break on the way home, right? Not really looking for anything. He said he saw his money, and there it was in the mouth of his sack. Now, what was the money? That was the money that Joseph gave them back, okay? They didn't know that was there, right? So he opens up this sack and he looks at this money. Now, what would be as far as me, if we get a blessing from God and my money's restored, or somebody gives me my money back, or is that a blessing to me? Yeah, that's a blessing, right? What did these guys take it as? How did these guys take it? It says, but as they opened their sack, they saw their money. There it was in the mouth of their sack. And it says, so he said to his brothers, my money has been restored, and there it is in my sack. Now look how the brothers reacted to that. Then their hearts failed them, and they were afraid, saying to one another, what is it that God has done to us? Why is that the response that they have? We're thinking about the brothers, and why is that the response that they have to Joseph?
One reason could be a guilty conscience from their past. Like when
right.
100% God's will and you get called to the office, you're not as much like, oh my goodness.
Right. Their guilty response. Yep. Feeling their remorse. They're guilty about what they've done. Right. They're just, what was Joseph's big thing when they were there? What was he saying to them? You're spies. You're not honest. And they're saying, look, man, we're honest people, man. We're honest. They know they haven't been honest in their past, but they're trying to change their life to be honest now, right? And they're like, now, all of a sudden, I'm still guilty about where I'm at. He already thinks that we're spies. He thinks that we're not honest people. When we come back or whatever, he's going to think that we're now thieves, right? If there's two things that I can't stand, and you can ask my family or whatever, it's a liar. Can't stand somebody that lies to me. Right? I'd rather you just tell me the truth and just tell me who you are or whatever. And a thief, somebody that steals from you. I don't like that. What is he? He's told them that they're honest men. He said, we're honest men, man. Now he's going to say, well, if you're honest men, then where'd you get this money from? And they're like, well, we gave, whatever. I mean, their guilty conscience is telling them that, right? Now, why did he use the money right there? How were the brothers, what was their life before? Because you remember, now we're talking about the brothers and how God is changing their life. What did they do before? Do we know? They sold him for money. Yep, they did. And they also did what? Like their whole life, when they were back over in with their dad over there in Canaan, they were going out, they were doing shady deals on the side, they were making money on the side, they weren't being honest with their father, they weren't. So why did the Lord use money to test them? And you can bring that up, and this is something that I'm thinking about. What does everything revolve around? Tell me what everything revolves around. Why do we have all the political stuff that we have, and all the junk going on, and all the people deceiving other people and doing whatever? Because of what? Personal gains. You have greed, you have lust, it all revolves around money, right? And the Lord knew their heart, right? The Lord knew where they were at before, and he knew that they had sold Joseph for money. He knew that they were out there doing whatever they were doing, and deceiving and trying to get extra money and trying to save money. And he's like, you guys say you're honest men, right? I'm gonna show you, because here's a test. Is it easy to say, if I come in here to church and I'm sitting, I can say that I've lived right, I've done right, I'm honest, I'm doing, and you can look at me and say, yeah, he looks pretty good, man. And my life may be terrible, right? My life. So he's saying, you guys say you're honest, and you say that you're changed, and you say you're doing better. Well, here's a little test for you. And we're going to use the very thing that has thrown you off in the past, right? Now, what does God use in our lives? What is it in our lives that we have struggled with, that he continues to bring up in our face and say, have you changed? Here it is in here, what's going on? And my question is, they should have reacted how? If you don't have a guilty conscience, if you're living right, if you're doing right, how would you normally react? If the Lord blesses me with something, if I get a blessing and somebody comes over to the house and says, hey man, I just want to bless you with this $1,000 check, just because I know you've been trying hard. I know you've been doing good. And here, am I going to, oh Lord, why'd you give me this? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you judging me like this? No, you're going to say, thank you, right? You should praise the Lord, right? They should praise the Lord. They should be thankful for that. They should give back and things like that, but they're not doing that, right? I want to look at a couple verses here, because money is a thing. And I want you to think about in your life, how much does money affect our lives? How much does money affect our lives? And I'm not just saying, that I'm broke and I'm whatever. What are we doing in our lives? Are we honest people in our lives? Because this is what God's saying. You can take this money we talked about last week. You can take this money, you can hide it, right? Nobody knows except you guys know what this money is. Nobody knows it's there. You can hide it. You can deceive. You can lie about it and say, hey man, I earned this on the way home, and we stopped and did a job, and we got this money back. You can just not tell anybody. You can be whatever. What are we doing in our lives? How are we dealing with the finances? Because I'm telling you, as we look at our finances and we look at the things that are going on in our lives, how much are we working? This is me, man. I'm working 65 hours a week, right? To make more money, to what? Buy more things, to do. Is money controlling my life? That's a good question. Am I only that's right. Am I giving? Right? Am I giving? I don't know what my Nana just said out there. Something. She made some comment about me and money. No, I'm just telling you, why would the Lord put this in here? Why did the Lord put this in here? This is a test for them. This is also a test for us. I'm telling you, we how do we deal with the finances in our life? And you can check by your checkbook. Correct? You can check where you're at by your checkbook.
Your inspiration, your drive.
Yeah.
You want to be
money drives everything, man.
Yeah. The word is that how you're trying to lead your life. What are you needing for?
Yeah. Why are we doing with the why are we living and choosing to do the things that we're doing, right? And this is a test for them. Are they going to pass the test? Have they really changed? Are they really honest? Because if you're honest, you're going to take that money and you're going to show it to the Father, and you can say, hey man, this is what went on, and whatever, right? So let's read over here, Ecclesiastes, and you don't have to turn there, but I'll read it. Ecclesiastes 5:10, right? Ecclesiastes 5:10. It says, he who loves silver. And I want you to think about this. Just think about this. He who loves silver, it says, will not be satisfied with silver. Now, what does that mean? He who loves money will not be satisfied with money. Okay. And it says, nor he who loves abundance with increase. Okay. It says, this also is vanity. I wrote beside this in my Bible. It's like chasing after the wind. If my heart and my love is based on money and how much I get, if I make more money, is that going to satisfy me?
Nope, you'll want more.
Is that going to satisfy me? Nope, you'll want more. If I get more abundance and more increase, is that going to satisfy me? Nope, you'll want more. When does it end? When does it end in our life? When does it end that we quit chasing the money and quit chasing the things and quit chasing the status and quit chasing all that and actually look at and serve God and chase God and look to do what he would have us to do in our lives? I'm telling you, as you look at this, let's turn over here to Matthew 6, and let's look at this, Matthew 6, because this is important in our lives. And I'm not preaching about tithing and about you got to give this. I'm just saying, where are you at in your life? What is focusing your life? Matthew 6:24, right? Matthew 6:24 says, we've all heard this, no one can serve two masters. This is Jesus talking. No one can serve two masters, right? It says, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else you will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Why do I say that? Because I want you to think, in our lives, what is our focus? I'm telling you, more now than ever, we have got to get real with who we're serving and what we're doing and what our focus is on. It doesn't matter if I've got $1 million in the bank. If I'm not doing anything with it and all I want is to make another $1 million, and I'm not serving God in that, and I'm not helping people in that, then what is the point of that? There is, how does money test us? How does money test the brothers right there? Well, their hearts are failing them, right? Because they're thinking, we know what we used to be. We know what money was in our life. We know that the right thing to do is to give this back, to tell our dad, to do whatever. How are we going to do? God, why are you testing me like that? The Lord, I told Sharon yesterday, until we get what God wants us to get out of it, he is going to continually test us with it, right? In my life, it's my patience and my routine, right? And the Lord continues to switch things up in my life because I want a routine. I want it structured. I want it. And the Lord saying, look, man, I have more for you than just you doing. You need to be able to vary off and do different things. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, Lord. I want to have the same routine, the same thing. I just want to do. And how much do I get hit with this changing in my life and this changing in my life? And Sharon said, until you get it, God's going to keep switching it up on you, right? Until we get our finances, our money, our focus on him, he's going to continually switch it up on us and continually, just hit us with test after test. He's not tempting us to fail. He's testing us to grow. I mean, that's what God's doing in our life. So these brothers, their hearts are failing them, right? They don't know what they're doing, and they're just kind of trying to figure that out. And the second point on this that I wanted to say was that, what did Joseph give them when he gave them the grain? And this is just, we know that there's a parallel between Joseph and Jesus, right? That this is the way that Joseph deals with his brothers and with that situation is the same way that Jesus deals with us. Okay. What did Joseph give his brothers? He gave them the bread for what? He gave them bread for what? For life, right? That's what he gave them. He gave them the bread to sustain them. Okay. Is that bread that he gave them going to run out? Is it going to run out? Sure, it's going to run out, man. 6 months, a year, you're out, man. And you got to come back to me, right? What did Jesus give us? And this is a good parallel right here. I want to read over here. We're gonna look at John 6:35, and I want you to think about this. What did the Lord give us? If Joseph gave them bread for life, right, to sustain them for a certain period of time, what did Jesus give us? John 6:35. Okay. And this is I like this. John 6:35. this says, if I could read with my without my glasses, it says, let's look up here. I'm going to look at 6:32. Then Jesus said, this is John 6:32. Then Jesus said to them, most assuredly, I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. What's he talking about? The bread of God is the one that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. He's talking about himself, right? He's talking about Jesus. He said, then they said to him, Lord, give us this bread always. We want this bread. And Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. Do we understand that? Joseph gave them something that was going to sustain them for a short period of time. The Lord gives us what? When we accept the Lord, he gives us the bread of life that it's never going to run out, right? We don't have to keep on looking and trying to fulfill ourselves with things of the world and things and the Lord is sustaining us. The Lord is providing for us. And that's where we're at. So these guys, they come down. Let's go back over to Genesis. The money's been restored. There it is in my sack. Their hearts failed them. So they're just trying to figure this thing out. And then they go down to verse 29. Then they went to Jacob. Now, who's Jacob? They're heading home. The whole way home, they're trying to figure out, how are we going to tell Jacob? How are we going to tell our dad that Simeon's back over there, right? How are we going to tell our dad that we got to bring Benjamin back, which is his favored child now? How are we going to tell dad that our money's been restored to us and he's not going to think that we stole the money, that we just deceived because we're deceiving people? How are we going to tell them that? They're thinking all these things, and then they're like, well, we're just going to go back and we're just going to tell them, right? Now let's read, and then I want to tell you, because this shows how they've changed. I want you to ask yourself, when you look at your life and the way that we are, if you look at yourself a year ago and the way that you lived and the things that you did and the focus that you had, have we changed? Have we done better? That's good morning, Andrew. Okay, so then let's look down here. So they went to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, and told him all that had happened to them, saying, the man who is Lord of the land spoke roughly to us. Did he do that? Yeah, he did. He did that for a purpose, right? Spoke roughly to us. And it says that, and took us for spies of the country. But we said to him, and I want you to get this, because he said to him, we are honest men. We are not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no more. The youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan, talking about Benjamin. Then the man of the Lord of the country said to us, by this I will know that you are honest men. This keeps coming back to, why do they keep coming back to you're honest men? Because they have been dishonest in their past, right? Because they have been liars in their past. They've been deceivers in their past. They're trying to get by that. How long does our reputation precede us? Think about it I'm telling you, think about it with the kids. Think about it with the young. Think about it with us. How long, what is the reputation that I have? Do I have a reputation of being honest? It takes a lot longer to undo it than it does to keep it. And I tell my kids, all you have is your name, right? I mean, that's what you have. You are who you are. And people are going to know you by what you've done in your past. Just because I change doesn't mean that everybody's going to look at me differently. And these guys have done everything they can do to try to change who they are. And they're saying, look, Dad, we told him we were honest, man. And he said, well, if you're honest, you're going to bring back Benjamin. And it keeps coming up with this honesty thing, because he's trying to tell them, look, we're really trying to be changed people. So it says to him, he says, this I will know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me, take food for the famine of the household, and be gone, and bring the youngest brother back to me. So I shall know that you are not spies, but that you are honest men. I will grant your brother to you, and you may be able to trade in the land. He's saying, look, you guys go home, bring the bread back. How I'm going to know you're honest? Because I only can know by the way that you move forward. You bring your brother back here, we can trade in the land, and then we're going to be okay, right? They tell the father that. Now, what was the difference now? Let's look at the life difference in them. How was the last time? Do you remember what they did the last time they came home? How did they, and let's look over here. This is Genesis 37. I'm just going to read this quickly, because these guys are changing, right? These guys are doing exactly what the Lord is intending for them to do. Joseph has changed. Joseph has he's grown up in the Lord. He's followed the Spirit. He's done his thing. Now we've got these guys. They're actually growing. They're starting to grow. They're starting to, who is it that leads a family? It should be the father. It should be the mother. It should be the parents. But in this situation, who's leading the race? It's the kids, right? Let's look over here in Genesis 37, and it says in verse 29. Then Reuben returned to the pit, and indeed Joseph was not in the pit, tore his clothes, returned to his brothers, and says down here in verse 31, so then they took Joseph's tunic. Now, this is what they did the last time. Okay, this is when they came back. They took Joseph's tunic, they killed a kid of the goats and dipped the tunic in blood. Then they sent the tunic of many colors that they brought to their father and said, we have found this. Do you know if this is your son's tunic? Right? The last time they came home after something went on, they literally dipped this tunic of many colors in blood. They brought it back to their father. This is how deceptive they were. This is how they were before. They brought it back to him and said, would you happen to know what this tunic is? Or do you know whose this would be? Is this Joseph's? Did they know how much he loved Joseph? Did they know how much he loved him? Did they care? No, that was their life. They didn't care, man. They were heartless, right? So now they come back and they're saying, okay, Dad, look, this is what went on over there. We're trying to be honest men. We want to be honest. We want to tell you the truth. How did the father, they're going in a different direction. They're trying to, be on their convictions and trying to do right and trying to be honest and tell their father. Did that go well for them? Did it go well for them? Was their father happy about that? No, the father was not happy about that, right? The next, you talk about the money and things like that. Now let's talk about our honesty. How honest are we? How honest are we in our lives? I don't know. That's a question you got to think for yourself, right? They are trying to change and be honest. Is honesty always easy? Is it easy? Is it easy to go to somebody and tell the truth? Because was the father going to be happy about this? Was he going to be happy that they said, look, we told him about, the family. We told him we had to leave Simeon. We're going to have to take Benjamin, and the father should be like, hey, man, good job being honest, man. I can see that you guys have changed. I can see that you're in a different position. What did he isn't happy about that. How is it people happy in our life when we're honest with them? Is it easy for the kids to be honest with their parents? Right? And if you just don't tell me something, does that mean that's as much as being dishonest if you're just leaving out the truth, right? How much do we do that in our life? How much do we do that? It's best left unsaid. I don't know. Depends on what it is, I guess, didn't it? Look over here, Matthew 7:16. And this is what I want you to think about in your life. Okay, I want you to think about in your life how we are. Matthew 7:16. And let's go to 15. And this is the Lord talking to his disciples, and he says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Like I said, we can look good here, right? We can act good here. We can do whatever, but is that our life? Or are you just showing up and trying to, pretend on who you are, right? Does the Lord know who we are? Does the Lord know what we're thinking and how we're acting and what we're doing? Right? Your actions. Okay, so let's read on. It says, who comes to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Okay. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? All right. Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Therefore, their fruits they will be known. How is the fruit in our life? The fruit in the boys' lives and the brothers' lives now is what? They're telling the truth. They're giving the money back. They're trying to do right. How is the fruit that is coming out of our life? If we look at the things that we're doing in our life, are we producing good things for the Lord? Or are we still kind of just in sheep's clothing, ravenous wolves that are not doing what we should be doing? Right? Because it's going to come out. The Lord knows who we are. Honesty is very important, because if I'm not honest about what I'm doing and I'm just living a fake superficial life, is somebody out there going to see that? Is it going to come around in the fruits that I bear? And then who does that come back on? Who does it come back on? It comes back on the Lord, right? I'm saying I'm a Christian. I'm walking around saying I'm doing well. And when I'm around people, I'm doing pretty good. And then I get out with my friends, or I get out here in the world, and I don't act the same way that I say that I am. My fruit doesn't show that, right? How does that look? We need to be honest about things. Let's go over to Proverbs 12:22. Proverbs 12:22. You would think that their father would be proud of them, man. But we're going to see the reaction that he has and what's going on with that. Proverbs 12:22. It says, lying lips. And I'm saying this because where are we at in our life? Where are we at in our life? Are we telling the truth for the Lord? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? It doesn't do us any good to live a life of deception, right? It just doesn't do us any good to do that. Proverbs 12:22, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. I just want you to think about that as we move forward into this new year. How are we gonna live? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna live truthfully? What is in all this political environment and all the lying and all the deceit and all the stuff that's going on? Who needs to step up? Who needs to step up? Christians need to step up, right? And we need to say, you know what? Because is it going to be easy? I'm telling you, going forward from this point, is it going to be easy to live right and to do right and to have integrity and to do that stuff? Is it going to be easy? No. Do people hate us? Yes. Does that mean that we should change the way that we act and the things that we do just because we're afraid of what people are going to think of us? No. Is that going to be easy? No. But it's pleasing to the Lord, right? That's who it's pleasing to. We need to see our life through what our fruit is and how we're dealing with our children and showing our children that and our mate and our wives or our whoever that, hey man, look, I'm going to stand up for the truth. I'm going to be righteous. I'm going to have integrity. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do because I'm going to take a stand for the Lord. I'm telling you.
In a way that the media is not portraying us.
Yeah. In a what?
And to do it in a way that the media is not portraying us.
Yeah. Do it in a way that the media is not portraying us. Yeah. Well, how does the media make us out to be? Christians that you're intolerant, you're racist, you're this, you're that, No, man, what is the Lord tell us? That I'm gonna know that you're my disciples by what? Your love for one another, the way that you love one another, the way that you give to one another, the way that you act. Not that and we can't deal with the world and people in the world as far as I'm better than you are, right? We've talked about that. Take the plank out of your own eye before you take the speck of dirt out of somebody else. We're not better than anybody. We are just trying to live the way God has told us to live, which is getting more and more difficult. I'm telling you, to keep our integrity is getting more and more difficult. These boys right here, the Lord is growing them and they're doing right. And they're trying to get back to what they're supposed to be doing. Right. And that's how we need to be. Even though it gets hard, we need to continue to do that. So they come up here and they tell their father, they told them about what their interaction was. They told him that they were honest men, and they told the leader, which is Joseph, about the brothers and the family. And he says, now bring your youngest brother to me, so I shall know that you are not spies, but that you are honest men. And I will grant your brother to you, and you may trade in the land. Is Joseph telling them that I want you to bring Benjamin? I'm going to sacrifice Benjamin on the fire, and then you can have Simeon back, and you can. No, he's just saying, look, I want to see if you're honest men. So just bring your brother back so that I can see that you're not lying to me. I'll give you your other brother. You can trade in the land. You can do your thing, right? That's what he's saying. Now, as we get down into this thing, now let's just read on, because that is how the brothers are. Okay, they're making progress here. Now let's look at. You would think that when they came back, what should Jacob have done? It's good to see y'all back. Hey man, I'm proud of you for being honest. Hey, thank you for going to get the food. Thank you for taking the sacrifice. Thank you for doing whatever. when you think about Jacob, we're going to talk about Jacob because he's the head of the house, right? He's the father over everybody. He's the one that should be honest. He's the one who should have integrity. He's the one who should be leading his family. And nowadays, when you look at your families, right? Who is it are we leading our families? I don't care if you're the mother or the father, it doesn't matter. Are we leading our families the way they need to be led? Or are we allowing the world to lead our families and to take control of our families and to do whatever they're going to do, right? Because Jacob's mindset right here, right? All of a sudden he's like, wait a minute here. We're gonna see how he is and we're gonna talk about who he used to be and who he is now, because there's a big contrast between that. Okay, and it's very interesting to me. It says, so as he tells them this, and they're just explaining to the dad where they're at. You go down to verse 35. It says, then it happened. Okay, so they knew they had the money. They hadn't really talked about the money. They hadn't hidden the money, taken the money out. They only thought that they had a little bit of money. They didn't really know the extent of how much money they actually had in their sacks, because they only opened up one sack. Okay, so as they're with the father, they're opening up these grain sacks, and it says, then it happened as they emptied their sacks, that surprisingly, so they were surprised. So they didn't know this before. It says each man's bundle of money was in his sack. How much money do you think that was? Probably a good bit of money, man. I mean, they had to buy a bunch of grain. Okay, they brought all that grain, all that money over there. It's all back in their sack, right? This is the father. You think that he'd be like, hey, man, we're being blessed by this. We got our money back. We got our grain back. We got, no, that's not what he says. It says they emptied, and surprisingly, each man's bundle of money was in his sack. It says when they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were all afraid, right? Because of guilty conscience, right? They're afraid of whatever it is that's going on. Okay. So it says they were all afraid. And it says, now this is the response of the father. Okay. This is the response of Jacob. And it says, and Jacob, their father, said to them, okay, this is instead of saying, good job. Hey, man, great. We got the money back. Hey, the Lord's blessing us. Hey, let's, whatever. This is his response to these boys. He said, the father said to them, this is down there in verse 36. Thank you. You have bereaved me, right? You have let me down. You have hurt me. You have put a hardship on me. That's what he's saying. You have bereaved me. He said, Joseph is no more. And we're going to talk about this. Okay. This is Joseph is no more. How long has this been? Somebody tell me, do we know how long it's been since Joseph has been no more to him? 17 to 20 years. Okay. It's been 17 to 20 years. Okay. That's important. It says Joseph is no more. It says Simeon is no more. Is Simeon no more? No, Simeon's over there just waiting to be picked up, right? Waiting to be, retrieved. Simeon is no more. And it says, and now you want to take Benjamin. All these things are against me. What did we hear in the preaching last week? What did we hear about that he is looking at? He's not looking at, hey, man, we got the grain, right? I got all my family back except Simeon's over there, but I have a way to get him back, right? We're doing well. We're all healthy. We have the grain. We're gonna make it. We're in the middle of this famine. I can feed my family. I can do, right? He's looking at the 25% and saying, my life is horrible. You have bereaved me. You have, I can't take it, man. Are you kidding me? Everything. Now look what he says right here. It says that, it says Simeon's no more, and you want to take Benjamin. All these things are against me. My life is absolutely falling apart, man. Everything is against me. Everything is built up on me. Everything is taking me down. I might as well not even, why do I get out of bed in the morning? Right? That's what he's saying to him. When we look at our life, right? And when we look at the things that we're going through in our life, how many things are going bad in our life right now? Who knows, man? Think about your own life. Think about how you guys are doing. How many things do we have going bad? Well, my job's not going like I want it to get. My kids are going crazy, man. Things are not, I don't have a brand new car, man. I just, my whatever, right? There's no reason for me to get out of bed because everything's against me, man. Do we get in that attitude? Tell me we don't get in that attitude when we look at the way the world is going. I think about that, right? God tells me, he says, look, why are you looking at the 25% of your life that is not exactly how you want it, right? Why not look at the 75%? Man, you've got grain. You've got your boys with you. I mean, you're healthy. You've got your family. Why don't we look at our life and see that, hey, man, there are things that are going well in my life. The Lord has really blessed me. Do we know, and he is looking at his life right now. Why is God doing the things that he's doing in Jacob's life? Because now the boys, you have Joseph that is progressed and stayed faithful to God and is lifted up, right? You have his other brothers that are now, they've seen their sin. They've dealt with their sin. They're dealing with their sin. They're becoming more honest. They're doing what they need to do. Now you have Jacob. The Lord's dealing with Jacob, and he's saying, look, Jacob, where are you at, man? What's going on in your life? Everything in your life is going bad. And we can look at that in our life. Does he know what is about to happen in his life? Can he see the future in his life? Can he see around the corner? No. Can we see around the corner in our life? Can I see where I'm going in my life?
No, we can see
No.
I'm trying.
I can see where I'm trying to go, and I can follow God and see. Does that mean my life is going to be tough? My life's tough, man, sometimes, right? Your life is tough. But we don't know around the corner. It tells us that God knows everything, right? God sees my future, man. God has a hope for a better future for me, a plan for a better tomorrow, right? If I continue to follow him. This is just right around the corner. Jacob's whole life is going to change. Just right around the corner, as I keep following the Lord, my whole life is about to change. Whatever it is that God has for me, God's saying, look, everything that I'm doing as a Christian, what does it tell me in Romans 8:28? What does it say in there? All things work together for what? Good. To those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. All things are working together for good. The Lord.
More challenges.
Oh, sure.
If we try to get closer to the Lord.
Yes. As we get closer to God, right? Does the devil like us? I was just having this conversation with Hannah yesterday. As we get closer to the Lord, right? The devil hates us, man. He's gonna hammer us, right? He's gonna make it harder on us, right? But the things, if you look at your life and you look at where you're at, am I dealing with the same struggles that I had to deal with 6 months ago? Or is the Lord bringing me to a new spot that, hey, man, you've dealt with these issues you had to deal with 6 months ago. Let's work on some new issues now. You're not going to deal with the same problems because you're progressing in where you're at, right? That's what I want to talk about right here is as we look at we look at Jacob, okay? Jacob is the head of the household, right? I want to read right here and we're going to, and I don't know, we're going to begin on Jacob because this is very important. The Lord is now beginning to work in Jacob's life, right? Jacob should be the one that was what? Who is Jacob? Jacob is the father, right? Jacob is one of God's chosen people. Jacob is one of the ones that was actually spoken to by God, right? How should he be in his life? He should be the one that is like, hey, man, look, God's in control of this thing. God's got this under control, right? God's got this. Let's look over here because I want to look back. We're going to look at Genesis 35. Okay, let's look at Genesis 35. I'm not going to talk about it long, but I want you to remember. Do we remember who Jacob? Do we remember who Jacob is? Do we remember Jacob's story? Jacob and Esau, right? He deceived his brother, stole his birthright, had to run. He was called the deceiver, right? He got over there in Laban's household, right? He worked for Laban, wanted to get Rachel as a wife, right? Laban deceived him, right? He got Leah as a wife, had to work for another 7 years, got Rachel. And then the Lord said, look, man, he got stuck over there, living there and doing things and getting stuck and not where God wanted him to be. And the Lord said, hey, man, it's time to pack up. It's time to go. I've got more for you than where you're at right now. And Jacob listened to him, right? He packed his stuff up. He got out of Dodge, right? He headed back to where God wanted him to be. So we're looking here in Genesis 35. This is when, Genesis 35, we're gonna just look at verse 1 right here, because I want you to remember, Jacob was a powerhouse. Jacob did believe God. He did follow him. He did love him. He did do all this thing. He says, then God said to Jacob, this is Genesis 35, arise, go to Bethel, dwell there, make an altar there to God who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau, your brother. And look what Jacob said to his house. And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, put away your foreign gods. This is what Jacob said. This is 20 years earlier. Jacob said, put away your foreign gods. And he said, that are among you. And it says, purify yourselves, change your garments, right? And let us arise and go to Bethel, and I will make an altar there to God who answered me in the day of my distress and has been with me in the way which I have gone. So they gave Jacob all their foreign gods, which were in their hands, their earrings, which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree, which was by Shechem. Jacob said, look, man, we're done serving other gods. We're going to follow the Lord in this thing, right? We're going to follow. And then what happened right after that? He got to Bethel, and what happened to Jacob? You had Joseph was gone, right? Because he was sold into slavery. What happened in Jacob's life? Completely shut him down. 20 years later, what did we just read right here? He said, Joseph is no more. Has Jacob ever gotten past Joseph? 20 years, has he ever gotten past Joseph? I want to ask, has he ever made a difference in his kid's life in 20 years? Has he led his family the way that he's supposed to lead them? Has he done anything that he's supposed to be doing? He's just paralyzed in where he's at. And the question that I have for us is that, what is it in our past that has paralyzed us from moving forward to where we need to be going? Because I'm telling you, if we allow whatever it is in our past, I don't care if it's 10 years ago, I don't care if it's 6 months ago, if we allow that to paralyze us, what does it do? It doesn't, you can no longer grow, right? Jacob is no longer growing. 20 years he hasn't grown. He hasn't led his family. He hasn't done what he's supposed to be doing. He's just stuck where he's at. The kids now are coming back around. They're saying, Dad, what is going on with you, man? I mean, you're supposed to be leading us, right? Why did he do that? Why did Jacob shut down? Because of Joseph, right? Well, because he believed what? What did Jacob believe? He believed a lie, right? Did he believe a lie? What is the power of a lie in our life? I'm just asking you that. I want you to think about that. What is and I wrote down here, lying. Who is the ultimate liar? Who is the father of lies? Who is it? Huh? Satan is the father of lies, man. Let's look over here at John. And this is important because especially to my kids, to you guys, to the younger people, Satan is the father of lies, man. I'm telling you, he is. Look at John. We're going to look at 8:44. Okay. John 8:44. And it says, you are of your father, the devil. And the desires, this is John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your heart you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it. The devil is the father of lies, right? Joseph is believing a lie, even though, did he have a reason to believe it? I mean, his kids brought to him the coat of many colors, dipped it in blood, said, is this your, I mean, he has no reason not to believe that, right? But what is it in our life? What is the lie that the devil is telling us? And you can just think about this in your life. What is the lie that the devil is telling us that is not allowing us to grow and become the Christian, the leader, the person that we need to be?
What is the opposite of it? What is the truth that God is?
And what is the truth that God's telling us? Right. I want to think about that. And I wrote down right here, what are some of the lies that the devil tells us? And these young kids, I mean, we had, and the Cable family is very open about their son committing suicide, right? Right. I mean, and they want to learn from that. And they want people to understand that, I mean, that just happened, right? What was the devil telling him in his life? I'm telling you, what was he telling him? And I wrote down, look, you're beyond hope, right? What is the devil telling us in our life? What is he speaking to us? You're beyond hope. You're forsaken, right? You're worthless. Does he tell us that? You're no good, right? That's what he tells us. That's what he tells us. And then even I can't come clean and confess. That's huge, right? The devil tells me that, look, if I hold in all the stuff that's going on in my life, and if I have a problem, if alcohol, pornography, drugs, I don't care what it is, right? What does the devil tell me? He tells me, Chad, you can never tell somebody about that, because as soon as you tell somebody, you're going to lose your reputation. As soon as you tell somebody, you've got to keep that. Right? What did he do to Adam and Eve in the garden? He said, look, man, God's a liar, man. God, he just wants to hold you back, man. That's what the devil's telling us. If I believe those lies, look at where Jacob is 20 years later. As I believe the lies the devil tells me, I never can move forward in my Christian life. I never can be an example to who I need to be an example for. I never will grow, right? And that's just the way, and that's where he is right there. In 1 Peter 5:8, what does it tell us about the devil? What's his goal in our life? What is the devil's goal in my life? 1 Peter 5:8. What does anybody know? Anybody know? Because I want you to think about this. 1 Peter 5:8. If I can get over here. 1 Peter 5:8. This is huge, man. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, your number one destroyer, right? Your number one enemy, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Resist him steadfast in the faith. The devil wants to kill us, right? The devil wants to keep Jacob in that position of believing a lie. The devil wants us to believe that we are worthless, we're no good, that we'll never make it, right? The world wants us to believe that, but I'm telling you, what God tells us is that you can make it, man. I'm telling you, you can make it. You can confess, you can come out and look at what, as you look down in here, this is Jacob's life. He was a powerhouse, man. I'm telling you, he was following God. He was leading his family. He was up and doing what he was supposed to do. And now he is not. And as we look at it as a parent, are we leading our kids, right? Are we leading our kids? Am I leading people around me? Am I an example to the people around me? Am I being what I need to be for other people, right? Because nowadays, nobody's leading anybody, man. We have our kids leading us, right? And we have our kids that are more faithful in church and more faithful reading and doing more than we're doing, right? We're not doing that. And it says down here, as we look at the last part of Genesis 42, as they emptied their sacks, and this was, Jacob saying, everything's against me, everything. And it says, and Reuben spoke to his father saying, kill my two sons if I do not bring him back to you. He's still trying to talk his dad into letting him take Benjamin to pick Simeon up and to be able to trade in the land, right? And he says, if I don't bring him back to you, put him in my hands and I will bring him back to you. He's saying, look, take my two sons. Now this is something that I'm not going to go on about, but this is something that we could go on about. Why is he telling him? Why is he telling him that? Why is Reuben saying that? He's saying, is that his place to say, look, man, take my two kids, and if I don't come back with Benjamin, you can kill my two kids, right? Did he talk to his wife about that?
Probably not.
Did he discuss that with his family and say, hey, I'm taking these two kids, and if I don't come back, you just take these two kids, you can sacrifice them? No. What deals do we make with the devil? As we're dealing with God. Lord, if you allow this to happen, then I'll give you this and I'll do this and look, we don't need to wheel and deal with God, right? We need to be honest with him, and we need to say, Lord, I need your help here. And this is just a stupid thing that he said. I get why he's saying it. He has the right intentions, but we don't just say things just to say things, right? We don't just make deals just to make deals and say, oh, Lord, if you allow me to get this job, then I promise you that I'm going to tithe 30% for the next 10 years. That's stupid, man. Why do we do that?
Is it not correct? Is it not that nothing happens to us before it first goes through?
Oh yeah, that's right. The Lord allows everything to happen in our life. Yes, it's filtered through. It's filtered through his hand, whatever it is in his hand. Yes. So, but this is something that Reuben is saying. We got to get Simeon back. Whatever I need to do, I'm going to do and he has a good heart in that thing. but it just is it's just the wrong way to go about it. But look here, and this is where we're going to end, and we're just about out of time. But it says, but he said, now who said? Jacob said, okay. Jacob, what was the problem to begin with? When all this junk started, why did it start? Because Jacob was favoring one of his sons, right? He was favoring Joseph. He was putting him above the others. 20 years have gone by, right? You lost your son because of that, right? The brothers sold him. They did whatever they did because of that. You would think that he would learn, right? You would think that he would learn. How do you think the brothers felt when he says this? He says, but he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. Now, how many sons did he have? Yeah, he had 12 sons, right? How many sons did he have left that he thought? 11, right? He said, my son is not going to go down with you. I'm going to take all of y'all. I don't care if we die of starvation. I don't care if Simeon sits over in this cell for the next 20 years. I'm telling you what, Benjamin is not going down with you. Because who is Benjamin? Benjamin is Rachel's child, right? Benjamin is his favorite child. Benjamin at this point is 20 something years old, and he's still treating him like, he's a little baby, and you're not doing this, and you're not going to take him, and you're not going to. How do we've talked about it before, but is it right to favor our kids? I don't care if you have your family and you have stepchildren, you have people from another. If you are a family, you are a family, right? I mean, that's what we need to do. We don't favor our kids, right? And because what happens when you favor your kids? They start working against each other. You start doing this is where he's at. But he's saying, look, man, I don't care what I haven't learned anything in 20 years. I've been shut down for 20 years, man. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to put everybody under the bus so I can save my one favorite child. This is not the way we lead, right? That is not the way we lead. As I lead my family, I love my kids. Do I want to kill my kids sometimes? Do I want to take them out? Yeah, I'll tell you I do. I told Andrew his birthday was yesterday or Friday. And I said, Andrew, I'm surprised you made it 17 years. I'm surprised I didn't take you out before now. I mean, the same thing with Hannah. I'm surprised that I'm telling you, but we love them, right? We love them. We take care of them. We do what we're supposed to do. That's just being honest, man. That's just where he says, but he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead. He is left alone. If any calamity should befall him along the way in which you go, then you would bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the grave. He's saying, you know what? None of you matter to me. That's what he's saying. None of you other brothers, none of my other sons, they matter to me. The one son that matters to me, if you take him and something goes on with him, then that'll kill me. And I can't take that. And I'm putting all my stake on this one son. I mean, come on, man. This is Jacob. He is the father. He is the leader. It's terrible, man. The Lord is still working in Jacob's life. He's worked in the son's lives. Now he's working in Jacob's life. He's moving forward in that, right? So we're over. You got to move forward.
Some may take a while.
Oh yeah, it takes a while, man. But and so the question is that you can ask yourself are we in the same place that I was a year ago? Am I in the same place that I was a year ago? What is it in my life? What lie is the devil telling me? What situation in my life is holding me back from being what God wants me to be today? And am I willing to confess that, to get over that, to move past that, so God can use me in my life, right? That God can use me to do something productive for him. Because until we do that, then we're sitting here and you might as well be floating around. And, the whole mission of the church is what? That we don't want to be a pond. We want to be a river. What does it mean? A river is running, a river is moving, a river is used. A pond is stagnant, dead. I mean, nothing new in it, right? I don't want to be that, man. I want to be something that God can use in this upcoming year. Anyway, we're out of time. We're going to move on. See, I told you we made it through 42. We're into 43 now. This is going to be the time when Benjamin actually goes back and they move forward, right? They're moving forward. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do after we get out of this, after we get out of Joseph, what we're going to do next year. No, get out of here, man. We're getting there. Okay. Any comments? We're out of time, man. Any comments? Anything?
Great job, honey. Great job.
Thank
As
you, Mom.
always. You're
Thank
welcome. I loved it. Love you.
Love-